You think if enough people like you, everything else will fall into place? Admit it. You believe the smiles will buy you safety, the nods will open doors, the constant yes will keep the wolves off your back. You believe likability is a strategy. It isn't. It's an anesthesia. It numbs you while your life is negotiated without you. Listen carefully. People like you for what you give them. They respect you for what you refuse to give up. If you need their approval, your no has no teeth. You'll be liked everywhere and respected nowhere. You don't need everyone to like you. You need the right people to align themselves because they can feel your spine from across the room. Here's the trap. It feels true that being liked will lead to success, love, stability. It feels true because your body rewards it. A smile hits your brain like a small paycheck. The invite pings your phone and your chest relaxes. A quick thumbs up on something you posted feels like gasoline in a tired car. It looks like traction. It looks like proof you're moving forward. But it's just noise. It's borrowed energy. It keeps you busy while your real life waits for you to demand it. You've mistaken attention for progress, applause for advancement, approval for authority. You are not moving. You're just being carried by other people's short-term relief. Comfort is expensive. It will bill you in years, then charge interest in regret. You think you can pay with little compromises and never notice the debt. But you will. You'll notice it when your head hits the pillow and the room gets quiet enough to hear yourself. You'll notice it when you say yes and your own voice sounds like someone else's mouth. You'll notice it when the same people who gush over your kindness suddenly forget your name the moment you stop feeding them. Underneath this habit is not kindness. It's fear wearing kindness's clothes. It's a fawn response, learned when you were younger, maybe when love felt conditional or approval was a moving target. You learned to trade boundaries for belonging because it turned down the volume on the threat of exclusion. You learned, if I'm useful, I'm safe. If I'm agreeable, I'm safe. If I'm pleasing, I'm safe. Fear becomes intelligent when it learns to speak your language. It translates itself into, I'm just being supportive, or I don't want to make a big deal, or I'm easy. And meanwhile, you're negotiating away territory that belongs to you. The more you surrender, the more you think, this is who I am. It isn't who you are. It's who you became to not get crushed. The real problem is not that you're nice. The problem is that your sense of worth lives outside your body. It's living on other people's phones, in other people's calendars, in other people's opinions. If your worth lives outside your body, your no is always negotiable. You qualify it, you weaken it, you wrap it in apologies like bubble wrap and hope it arrives intact. But a no wrapped in fear is a maybe in disguise. And people who want your time, your energy, your talent, your silence, they smell that doubt. They test it. They push twice. They ask 3 different ways. They learn that the door you closed is actually sliding glass, and they can see you pacing behind it. Your no needs teeth. Teeth don't explain. Teeth bite down. Bite. When your worth lives outside you, you become useful but interchangeable. You're always available, always accommodating, always the guy who can be slotted in with no friction. People love that about you until they don't need it anymore. Then you're replaced by the next guy with open hands and a soft voice. You're overbooked and under-respected. You're praised publicly and ignored privately. You sit in your car after doing yet another favor you didn't want to do, and you're quietly angry. Not at them, at yourself. Angry at the deals you never meant to make. Deals you made with silence. Deals you made with smiles, deals you made with your own exhaustion. As the years stack, those concessions harden into a personality. He's just easygoing. He's always got time. He never makes a fuss. It sounds noble. It isn't. It's a brand built on self-erasure. And while you're perfecting it, opportunities go to men with spine. Men who say, here are my terms, and then hold the line when the room goes awkward. Doors open for men who carry the weight of their own name. They aren't mean, they're precise, they're clear. They're willing to lose the approval of the moment to gain the respect that lasts. You'll watch less talented men pass you because their boundaries make them visible. You'll feel a slow rot in your chest as self-contempt replaces the very approval you chased. Because a man can live without being liked, but he cannot live with betraying himself. Not for long. Then it happens. The break, the moment that cuts you. Someone you bled for treats you as an option. Someone you rescued leaves you when you're drowning. Someone you kept saying yes to gives the spot to a man they barely know because his no had more gravity than your years of whatever you need. It hurts in a way you can't dignify with language, and it teaches like a hammer. Likability doesn't purchase loyalty. Only limits do. Loyalty doesn't grow in the soil of constant access. It grows in the shadow of standards. You realize people don't trust the man who can be moved by a little pressure. They use him, they test him, they feed him praise until his leash is snug, and then they tug. You don't need to become hard to be respected. You need to become clear. Respect grows where access is gated by principles, not moods, not crowds, principles. Lines that don't move because your feelings did. When a man guards his terms, others organize around him. They adjust their expectations, they regulate their tone, they watch their time, they decide whether they meet his bar, and if they don't, they go elsewhere. That's how order works. The sun doesn't ask if you're ready. It rises. The tide doesn't apologize. It moves. A man grounded in principles becomes predictable in the right way. The chaos of people's demands stops ruling him because his decisions were made upstream. So you begin to price your attention like currency, not like a coupon, not like a donation box. Currency. You state your terms once. Calm, short, no heat. You enforce them without drama. You don't explain 12 times. Outcomes replace explanations. I don't work without a deposit. If there's no deposit, there's no work. You don't send a paragraph about boundaries. You don't send a second reminder. You just don't show up to the circus. I don't take calls after 8. If someone calls, the phone goes quiet. No hostile text, no apology, just silence, and then business as normal inside the hours you named. You raise your voice, I leave. If they raise it, you leave. Not angrily, not theatrically. You exit. You teach with outcomes, not speeches. A boundary explained becomes a debate. A boundary enforced becomes a law. You will feel selfish the first time you do it. That's the detox. You're withdrawing from a drug called approval. Your body will shake. Your head will create scripts about how they think you're difficult. Good. Let them think. They'll either adapt or they'll disappear. Both are wins. Because you're not here to manage everyone's mood. You're here to manage your mission. And your mission cannot survive on diluted time and borrowed courage. The life you want is hidden behind the actions you avoid. The world pays men who are willing to feel the sting of disapproval and keep moving. Confidence doesn't come from hoping people clap. You don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by surviving reality. You become strong when you sit in the discomfort and do it anyway. Every time you hold a line, a piece of you wakes up and says, finally. But make no mistake, this is not about becoming cold. This is not a call to war with everyone. It's a call to stop warring with yourself. When you stop negotiating your core, you become more generous, not less, because your yes finally means something. When you give, it's clean. It's free of resentment. It's not a bribe for closeness or a down payment on being noticed. It's a choice from a man who isn't afraid to say no. That's why people respect him. They can trust the logic under his kindness. It isn't for sale. You want to know why some men get called in for the big moments? Why the room gets quiet when they walk in? It's not height or beard or money. It's consequence. Their presence carries consequence. Everyone knows their time has a price, their standards have teeth, their compliments are earned, and their silence is not consent. People rise to meet that because it forces clarity. It says, this is how I operate. No edge of apology, no offended ego, just steel and calm. If you've been addicted to being liked, you're going to face withdrawals. Expect it. The first time you enforce a limit, someone will call you difficult. That's code for you used to be easy to move. The first time you say, I can't make it, someone will try guilt. That's a lever they've used before. Don't argue. Don't justify. Don't send a novel. Just hold. The first time you put a price on your skill that matches its value, someone will say, you're arrogant. That word is a test. It asks, will you shrink to keep my comfort intact? Don't shrink. Let the silence expand. Let it do the work you've been doing manually for years. You do not need a script for every possibility. You need a spine for every possibility. Principles give you that. Try living by 5 of them and watching your world reconfigure. Preserve your mornings. Keep your word to yourself before you keep it to anyone else. Speak once, then act. Don't argue character with anyone who benefits from your confusion. And never trade long-term respect for short-term relief. Plug those into your life and everything changes. Not because the world got nicer, but because you got non-negotiable. You're going to lose people. Hear me. You are going to lose people, not because you became cruel, because you stopped subsidizing their comfort at your expense. It'll feel like a fire at first. Let it burn. What remains is real. What remains is aligned. What remains knows how to stand next to you without needing to bend you. the right woman, the right business partner, the right friends. They won't flinch at your standards. They'll thank you for them. They'll feel safer around you, not because you're soft, but because you're solid. Safety doesn't come from endless access. It comes from known edges. If you think this is harsh, try living without it. Try being the man who can't say no. Watch how fast your calendar fills with other people's priorities. Watch your health bleed out in tiny cuts. Watch your dreams die of dehydration because you poured yourself out on everything that wasn't yours to carry. Then tell me this is harsh. What's harsh is realizing too late that you built a museum of favors and called it a life. What's harsh is realizing that the person you were trying to save, yourself, never got fed. Never. This is how it shifts. You wake up and decide your name needs weight. You decide your time has a border and your attention is a gate. You don't yell it, you don't post it, you build it with repetition. Say no clean, say yes slow. Move without explaining everything. Let your calendar show your values. If the gym is on it, it happens. If the work block is on it, it happens. If rest is on it, it happens. No one has to clap, no one has to understand. You and your standard are the audience. The first week, your mind will bargain. The second week, it will feel normal. The third week, it will feel necessary. Habits are the bricks that build a backbone. Your old life will try to bargain for a last meal. It will tell you just this once. It will remind you of all the times bending got you a pat on the head. Don't buy it. Your nervous system will search for familiar soothing. It will try to pull you back into hustle, smile, hustle. Breathe through it. Sit in the urge to explain. Let the urge pass. The world doesn't end. The people worth keeping respect you more. The ones who needed a puppet lose interest. Good. Leave them to their theater. No one is coming to hand you respect. You collect it at the door with what you're unwilling to sell. You're not denying the world your kindness. You're denying it your compliance. There's a difference. One is a gift. The other is a leash. You break the leash by choosing limits that protect your mission. That mission might be building a business. It might be building a family. It might be building yourself from the ground up. Whatever it is, it deserves a guardian. Be that. I'm not telling you to be rude. I'm telling you to be immovable. Rudeness is weakness flexing. Immovability is strength at rest. When you say, this is what I do, this is what I don't, and then you live it, you become inevitable. People plan around you the way they plan around weather. They don't beg the rain not to fall. They bring a jacket. That's respect. Press into the discomfort and make it practical. Stop half promising. If you're in, be all the way in. If you're out, be all the way out. No more let me see when you already know. No more maybe when your gut says no. Your gut isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to save you. Hear it. It's smarter than your fear. And fear, by the way, will try to sound noble. It will dress itself up as humility. It will whisper, who are you to set standards? You know who? The man who has to live with the results. The man who pays when things go wrong. The man whose dreams either live or die based on what he protects. That's who. You'll notice something else when you start doing this. Your energy returns. Your focus sharpens. The room gets quieter in your head. You waste less time replaying conversations. You waste less time explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding. You don't need to win debates anymore because your life is the argument. You're busy building. You're busy keeping your promises to yourself. You're busy getting strong. You're busy doing the work nobody sees. So when they finally do see, it looks like magic. It isn't magic. It's boundaries plus time. Some of you are waiting to feel ready. You won't. Readiness is a product of action, not a condition for it. Start before you're smooth. Start before your voice stops shaking. Start with a short sentence. No, that doesn't work for me. I'm not available. Let your feet move while your stomach flips. You're not dying, you're evolving. And evolution always looks like destruction from the inside. Let the old skin crack. Let the audience for that skin leave. Let the new man be born without their permission. There's a reason ancient doors were made heavy. They were meant to be moved with intention. Treat your access like that door. Who gets your time? Who gets your attention? Who gets your forgiveness? Who gets your expertise for free? Stop swinging it open for every knock. Stand there. Ask your principles. If the answer is no, let it be no without a speech. If the answer is yes, step all the way through. Full presence, full power. That's a life without resentment. Men keep asking me, how do I become confident? Here's how. Keep promises to yourself that cost you. Keep them when no one is watching. Keep them when it would be easier to fold. Go to the gym when it's dark and you're tired. Make the hard call. Demand the rate. Leave the room when disrespected. Sit with the silence after. Get up the next day and do it again. Confidence is memory. It's your nervous system remembering we survived when we held the line. It stops arguing with you. It starts standing with you. You don't need to ruin every relationship to become this man. You'll repair some by finally becoming solid. You'll lose the ones that required your softness to function. That's fine. A weak alliance never carried a strong future. Build your circle on truth. Let the men around you be men with terms. Let the bar be high. Iron sharpens iron, not foam. You need brothers who will look you in the eye and say, "You're slipping," and who will let you say it back. Not out of contempt, but out of commitment. Stop performing. Stop auditioning. Stop waiting for the crowd to decide your fate. Become the frame. The frame doesn't apologize for its edges. The frame doesn't change because the picture changed. The frame gives shape. The frame gives context. The frame is the reason the picture holds. Be that. Be the man who can be liked or disliked and still not move his core. Be the man who acts from principle when it costs, not just when it's convenient. Be the man who knows that popularity is a tide and respect is a rock. This is not about becoming invincible. It's about becoming responsible for your time, your energy, your talent, your word. End the excuses. You are not too busy to set terms. You're just afraid of setting them. You're not too nice to hold a line. You're just uncomfortable with the silence after. Good, go meet that silence. On the other side of it is a life you recognize as yours. On the other side is sleep that doesn't need applause to come. On the other side is a man you can look in the mirror and respect. If this stings, let it. Pain is a teacher. Stop numbing it with yes. Stand up, pick a standard and nail it into the ground. Price your attention like currency. State your terms once. Enforce them calmly. Let outcomes do the talking. Let people sort themselves. Let the wrong ones leave. Let the right ones arrive. Build your days around what you protect, not what you hope. Do not apologize for needing limits. Apologize for waiting this long to set them. Then stop apologizing for anything else. Respect is not a byproduct of charm. Respect is the tax people pay to interact with a man who has terms. Start collecting. Do it today. No announcement, change your behavior, guard your mornings, show up for your training, answer messages on your schedule, remove access that disrespects your time, stop begging to sit at tables that collapse under their own weakness, build your own, set your rules, and let those who can handle them pull up a chair. You are not the sum of other people's comfort. You are the sum of the prices you're willing to pay and the prices you're willing to charge. Charge fairly, charge clearly, charge without trembling. Everyone can like you or some can respect you. Pick. Only one of those builds a life a man can stand on. Only one of those puts steel in your back. Only one of those lets you look at your days and say, "These are mine." This is where the boy ends and the man begins. Not when you get a title, not when you get applause. When you stop selling your core at a discount, when you can stand in a room full of opinions and feel the weight of your own, when your no has teeth, when your yes carries power, that is the line. Step over it. Today, not after your next favor, not after your next apology. Today, close the door that needs closing. Say the sentence you've been avoiding. Remove your worth from other people's hands and pull it back into your chest where it belongs. Then act like a man whose core is not for sale. Some will walk, let them. Some will test you, hold, some will organize around you, lead. And when you lay your head down tonight, you will feel something you haven't felt in years. Respect. From them maybe, but more importantly, from you.